Um, you know, but yeah, we could talk about these, especially the Packers and the Bucks here, and what's going on with these teams that, I wouldn't say they're in the conversation with the Bills and the Chiefs, but they were kind of right below them, right? And they were
Yeah,
supposed to be the two teams kind of should
to
be
match
towards the
up well with
top,
them.
and they should be the two top teams in the NFC. I mean, look, if you're a Rams fan or some other, fan of another team, you might say otherwise, but really, two Hall of Fame quarterbacks, kind of always in the mix, and they're just not putting together quality games as teams.
Yeah,
And quarterback play has been not the greatest
subpar
for
at
both of
best.
them, right? And team wise, you know, um, I don't know what the issue is, right? The Packers don't have weapons. The
The Bucks
Bucks
have all the
do,
weapons in the world.
and
Yeah,
they're still not performing. The Bucks were supposed to have one of the best defenses in the league this year, where
yeah.
it's not really showing up the
So,
same way.
so my whole theory, with, I mean, we could get both. Obviously, we're gonna get into both teams, but with the Bucks, it's kind of we seen the whole thing kind of pan out with Bruce Arians and Tom Brady, where they got along, but there was some tension there. And it seemed like the Bucks organization as a whole were like, okay, well, Bruce Arians, we still want you involved, so you can handle operations, and then Todd Bowles will have you be the head coach, and um, Brady kind of gets the not the dog leash off of him, but Brady kind of gets like a little bit more breathing room, and Brady is doing what he's doing, but it's weird how their offense is struggling because it's like even Mike Evans last week, like he dropped a wide open touchdown. It's like that's so unlike Mike Evans. Um, I mean, are we seeing Tom Brady kind of like decline a little bit? Are we
It's
seeing it
tough,
like
when I watch the Bucks play this year, I don't get the feeling like he just doesn't have it.
no?
I get more the feeling that something's off and they're just not executing correctly. And
Yeah,
so
it's
that's
really
what makes
sloppy
it
their
tough.
football.
And that's what makes it, it's better, I guess, as a team to be in that position because you can still turn things around. But it's more frustrating than if you didn't have the talent to do it because you know that you're not living up to it. And then you have to figure out why. Because it's clear that they don't know why. Because as viewers, I haven't seen anybody really make a point as to why the Bucks are underperforming.
No,
At least with the Packers, right? We know they have receiver issues. That's the big one,
that's the
right?
big gimme right
So
there.
we know the Packers have receiver issues, and maybe they need some more time to gel, or maybe it's just not going to happen this year. But if you're the Packers, you could probably live with that more so than
Because you
if,
know what the problem
yeah, you know
is.
what the problem is. You know that if things don't work out, it's because of that. And look, there's other free agents like Odell on the market. Maybe they try to get him there as much as they can. But when
Yeah.
you're the Bucks, there's no outside solutions.
I
There's no
think,
reasons to point to
yeah,
as much.
it's kind of confusing. There is no reasons. You could point out to the offensive line. They're not playing to the best of their abilities. Maybe they're just not responding well to Brady's criticism. Brady yells at his linemen, and it's more so just to get them on track, not to really be on like, oh, you guys suck.
Well, but look, we talk about Brady a lot, and we've seen different things come out about Brady. Is it the way he talks to his teammate? Is it because he wasn't there to
And
at some part in the
OTAs,
beginning?
nah,
Is it the whole family thing that maybe he's a little bit checked out right now? But the other factor is it the coaching change? Is
yeah.
it that when
I
Bruce
think it has
Arians
a
isn't there, that
nah.
with because look, Bruce Arians, well-rounded coach, well-respected. Tom Brady comes there, they're able to get things going, right? Todd Bowles, who I think is a great coach, but he's much more defensive minded,
Yeah.
right? So now the offense is having challenges, and now it's like, okay, so now what's going on?
What
Is
is it?
Todd Bowles isn't really able to step in and maybe fix things like a Bruce Arians might be in that situation, and
Yeah.
that's where we might see the gap of
Todd
why.
Bowles and
Yeah,
Bruce Arians. I
right.
think that's a great point. And Bruce Arians, I mean, regardless of who you are, I mean, he's coached up great quarterbacks: Ben Roethlisberger, Peyton Manning, Carson Palmer. He kind of revitalized his career. So yeah, I think that's a huge thing. Just the whole factor of not having an offensive minded coach, not having an offensive minded um game planner, because we've seen the defense doesn't look bad. The defense looks great. Aside from last week, they've kind of held up opponents consistently. We just seen the problems and the issues with the Bucs offense, but I'm sure they'll get it back going. The Packers, I'm sure I don't know what they're gonna do. I think they have to sign Odell, or try to go after Odell. But outside of that, it's like it's tough. It's like, what do you want Aaron Rodgers to do?
Yeah, I
You
mean,
have
look,
no dependable
I mean,
receivers,
there's
and
look, it's not so they have no dependable receivers right now. I think if you're the Packers, you make signing Odell the priority, but I don't know if that's going to work. Like if I'm Odell, I'm probably not going there. You
yeah,
know,
I mean, when I wouldn't go
I'll
there
if
either.
I'm Odell, I think there is genuine interest in the Giants. One, because they're winning. Two, because
The
the
history he
history
has.
with them. Outside of that, I think he's. I mean, if you're Odell, you're probably going to look at either the Chiefs, who can use you, right? They're a high-powered offense, but he can be the featured number one receiver there. With Kelsey being their main target as the tight end, but you put Odell there, he's going to
That's a
eat,
lot of
right?
yeah.
And then the other place is Buffalo. Von Miller has been advocating for him to come there the whole time. Their offense is explosive. They have Stephon Diggs, but he knows how to be a solid number two with
Yeah.
playing with Cooper Cup last year. So that would be the places that interest me if I'm Odell. The
Even
Packers, it's tough.
Yeah, even well, what I'll say with the Packers, and I'll say on Odell in a minute. With the Packers, I think it maybe they just need a bye week. Maybe they just need that whole, like, Aaron Rodgers, relax, everything's gonna. Aaron Rodgers doesn't seem to be like, not like crazy. Like, obviously he's not happy with losing, but he doesn't seem to be panicking. Not that he ever does, but that doesn't seem to be the case. But I think what Packers fans should remember is, coming out the gate, Devontae Adams wasn't a stellar. He didn't have stellar hands. He wasn't the wide
Right.
receiver he is now. It took a lot of time. He was dropping a lot of balls the same way that Dobbs is dropping, same way that Christian Watson was. But and that's where it's like, I think Romeo Dobbs is a great wide receiver. I think it's just going to take some time with
Yeah,
him and Aaron
they take
Rodgers.
time to gel.
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers
exactly.
is a one of the highest IQ'd quarterbacks in the league, and you bring in these receivers
Right.
from all these other places, different programs, playing in college to now playing in the NFL. They lost their other receivers, a bunch of them, where they had at least some connection. Now he's playing with a bunch of guys who he doesn't have as much of a connection with. They don't have the reps together. They haven't
Right.
gotten fully on the same page. So yes, sometimes it just takes time to gel. This could be a team that they get things together, and
And they
towards the
turn
year
it around.
they're going on another playoff run. So that wouldn't surprise me either. But what I will say though is their run game has looked good, and their defense has looked decent at times. I mean, there's been stretches where they haven't, but I think it's also, if as an offense you can't stay on the field, the defense is out there all day.
Yeah, they're
That's
winded.
tough to overcome too. So
Right.
their run game has looked good. If they can get the pass game going, it might be a net positive overall than what we've seen in years past.
Right. So, and last thing about the Bucks, call Odell. Maybe that's a good addition to have, and he's always wanted to play with Brady. And since Brady's been on the Patriots, so maybe there's a connection there. It's in Florida, great environment, great weather. So that's also another thing to consider.